What it do, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Rundown, your favorite chat show, hosted by yours truly, Jer Bear, aka Jeremiah Neal, aka Jer Monster, aka the Rejuvenated Princess, y'all. Woof. Y'all, first of all, this week that we're in is all about energy, y'all. We got the Chinese New Year, we got Lent, we got Ramadan, we got the new moon eclipse. I don't know if any of y'all that are listening are into energy portals, anything of that nature. But y'all, it's going to be a heavy week, but definitely in a good way. So I hope that's very exciting for y'all. I hope y'all are channeling all the good things that you deserve in life, because after the past couple years that we've been having, let's just say we all deserve the world. But anywho, y'all, your girl finally got a vacation. I'm not talking about no little staycation, y'all. I'm talking about a vacation. And man, was that needed, y'all. First of all, if anybody hasn't taken a vacation within like the last year, you need to do one. Schedule one for next week. Within the next month, I don't care if you ain't got the money, go get a credit card, charge it. Charge, okay? Because when I say it's so needed, y'all, I forgot what it felt like to honestly treat thyself and feel what it is to just be human and eat and sleep and drink and have fun and just live. The front half of the vacation was a cruise, and so y'all already know the vibes. It's giving Glamorous by Fergie. Okay, I'm talking escargot every other night, crab cakes, prosecco, standing on the top deck looking at the ocean water. Okay, karaoke and espresso martinis every night of the damn week, y'all. That was just like my routine, and I definitely miss it. I can kind of understand why Zach and Cody was on that damn ship. Sweet life on deck is my reality, because I get it. I understand why cruisers are cruisers. I definitely will be adding it up into the repertoire of everything, because it just felt so good. And honestly, like I said, after the 2024 I had, I'm gonna do a whole episode on that in the future, so y'all stay tuned. But after the 2024 that I personally had, I can't tell y'all how much a vacation like that will really just it goes back into the whole reason why I wanted to move to New York and kind of have a reset to begin with, because I feel like in Los Angeles, and I would say New York is kind of also a very fast-paced city, but when you get into a metropolis, a fast-paced city, and things are always about motion, it's really difficult to unlearn moving that swiftly and just slowing down a bit, learning to just relax. And I think cruising is great because you're in the middle of nowhere. So you have no service. So you got to just relax a bit. You got to treat yourself. You have no other option. And I think that's so important. It forces you to do something that you probably would have avoided had you been in the hustle and bustle of your metropolis. So I don't know. It was a wild emotion to experience firsthand, but I'm glad that I did. And I definitely enjoyed it for sure. Y'all can tell I'm recovering. Just by this is also that new moon voice. I'm telling y'all, anytime there's a new moon or a full moon, the werewolf comes out of your girl. Nevertheless, it definitely feels so good to be so free. And, just imagine twisting down the beach of Mexico, no music, no headphones, and listening to the waves of the ocean, just living. Every human on this planet, I don't care if you're the king of Genovia or you a janitor girl, everybody deserves to have that type of feeling. So go do it. Go schedule that vacation. Now, I will say, if you do decide to partake in something of this sort, please be prepared to be wearing sweatpants and drawstring outfits for an entire full week after, because baby girl, when I say after all that eating, we done packed on the baby fat. I actually kind of my baby kind of like it like that. Who said that? It's that Remy Mom. But then, y'all, the latter half of my wonderful, wonderful vacation was celebrating my sister's wedding. My sister got married, my baby sister, y'all. We're about a decade apart, so she's claiming that Gen Z territory, which was also something so interesting to watch in wedding culture, because I've always been to weddings where they've been very traditional and, boring. No shade to anybody that had one of them boring weddings, but I love to see. And I've been to quite a few millennial weddings as well. I feel like they definitely adopted a lot of things, but they upped the ante, at least on music playlists and the wardrobe. But Gen Z weddings are definitely fun. Very different than what I expected, but very fun. I had a blast. It was so cool seeing family members that I hadn't seen y'all 10 years, 20 years, decades, and having everybody just all in one room together. What song that describes that would probably be One Direction's What a Feeling. The emotion of that song definitely emotes. Probably mixed with D'Angelo and Lauryn Hill's Nothing Even Matters. I feel like if you could like hybrid those songs, even though they are completely opposite sides of the spectrum, that's how I know y'all know that I am a one-of-a-kind gem. It's the Aquarius in me. But both of those songs totally encompass my emotions from just being there with everyone. But y'all, like, especially after COVID, I can't stress this enough. Please attend some type of family celebration. Just try to link up with them. With this crazy world that we got going on, y'all, everything is just so jaded. I just feel it. You walk down the streets, or especially in a big metropolis city, you're going to feel the heavy weight of the world. You turn on the news, you go on TikTok, everywhere. It's just like kind of madness. It feels like Gotham at times. But I truly believe, especially like just seeing Bad Bunny and what he said at the Super Bowl about how combating that type of energy, that type of hateful rhetoric with love is the only way for us to kind of tip the curve a bit. And I totally agree. Like after spending a whole complete week with a bunch of family members and loved ones and close friends, which can also count as chosen family, I will say my cup has never felt more full. I feel so at ease. I feel at peace. I'm just vibing. I hope I can like bottle it up and put it in a jar like Felix or whatever from Harry Potter. But that pure raw joy, and then having all of that like magnified by a bunch of other people that also are experiencing that same frequency, it's something like just so joyous. I truly believe that togetherness can heal anything. And that's why I feel like the negative folks are onto that. They understand the power of togetherness, celebration, healing, how we can recharge ourselves. And that's why they want to take everybody away from each other. They are so aware of needing to distract us from being able to come together to harvest positive and fulfilling energy of that sort. That's why they got everybody always in their car sitting in traffic. That's why they got distractions everywhere. Everybody's hooked on their phone all the time. Like they want us separated, y'all. They want us glued to the devices. They want everybody's connections to slowly die out. That's why we see what we see every single day on the news. So let's use our love brains. People all around the world, start a love train. For real though, it sounds cheesy, y'all, but we got to do that. It's the only way for us to kind of like slither through like Wendy. Let me leave my girl alone. She done had a very, very tough week on Bravo. So y'all see me already planning future episodes. Y'all ready for Bravo Part 2? But anywho, anyone that's kind of been like a little shy kid, or it takes so much courage for you to just like exist in spaces because you're always just like so nervous or so scared of what others think of you, etc. I felt like not guilty for the first time taking up space in a room, just being myself, authentically me. Some of these pictures, I'm looking back at it, that's still a queer baby ass Jer Bear, just being like, I was just so joyous and happy. And that says something. I've struggled my whole life, not realizing like that's my superpower, is being the sunshine, being just like a little cheese ball in the room and emitting that type of sunshine in any space that I enter will like make just life be so much more fun. So I would say there's no need to be like hiding anything, especially when it comes to flaws. When you live in a city like Los Angeles or New York, everybody's just trying to show like this one faceted side of themselves. Oh, I work in tech, or I work in Wall Street, or even in healthcare, I'm starting to see people act a certain type of way. Why not just show the whole thing? Because then that's when you get set free. Now I understand when like Spice Girls are talking about set your spirit free is the only way to be. It's so crazy how stuff like that, lyrics like that can click decades later, but now I'm like, you got to live life a bit to kind of understand it. So long story short, just got to focus on being us. You got to be you, be yourself. And I love, again, when stuff like this clicks in my brain, it made me feel like such at ease, especially bringing up LA. It's like a perfect place to practice being the prototype. We've been shown all this media, watching MTV, Disney Channel, etc., on like the perfect person to be. And I feel people are always playing those roles. We actively wear masks when you go outside. and to just be perfect, you end up getting so lost from self and so detached. And then you feel like defeated because it's like your eternal emotions are conflicting from the prototype version that you have to portray or you have to put out there. So it's like having all that show and fluff, it like expands. Then when you're not aligned with it, then it's like, it can get so frustrating. I was literally doing like on paper what seemed to be the best, but feeling so not yourself. And so then that's why I'm just so blessed again to be in New York where it's a complete opposite. Oh, I know myself, but then how do you re-enter the world knowing thyself? And we're still learning day by day, which is quite an amazing journey. Very wise Lauryn Hill on my brain. Because the song that popped up just now was Everything is Everything. That whole album, good for her for kind of reclaiming some presence because I'm seeing them streams go up, girl. Anywho, y'all, today I want to talk about choosing joy in life and how to just like live in that. That being like your default setting, how you are rewiring yourself to just choose that as your option and directing yourself in the path that's yours. It might be imperfect. It might be all the things that you didn't think of when you were a kid, but let's face it, all the stuff that we were promised, it's out the window, girl. So we got to be in charge of attracting what we want. But to me, this runs deep, especially living the crazy life that I have, because sometimes I feel like being able to choose joy seems foreign. It feels like sometimes you're forced to just try to live in your sorrow or live in a state of sadness or almost reactive in a way. I used that word slither earlier with Wendy, but it's kind of true. Like sometimes people like to just like wheedle through life, just like be hidden, just go to the job, like not put themselves out there because we live in a crazy world, y'all. Like I get it. You want to just avoid conflict. So when you avoid all of that, you're like almost on standby waiting to react to something bad happening to you. And to me, this creates a cycle or a loop that you end up getting addicted to in a way. And maybe it's because of familiarity. That's something that I found within myself. I would rather stick to something that's familiar, even if it's mid C, D quality. If it's familiar to me, it's like comforting. It's a comfort zone. So I stick to it instead of sometimes just diving into something new that might be better for me, might have me more money, etc. And moving to New York has definitely helped push me out of that space. But I will say I can't like fault nobody for feeling that way because we all deserve to feel that type of comfort. Even as a kid, every kid deserves to feel like I am safe. I have something to cling onto. That's why kids so dang strong. Y'all be seeing them Gen Z babies. They just be grabbing anything and everything. They so strong because they know I can need something to cling onto. So you gonna feel that even in your adulthood. If you don't even have that healed, you gonna have to work through that because you're gonna be always reaching, and we all deserve to feel rooted in a way. I will say, in addition to that, how are you supposed to break something that you don't know is wrong? It's not necessarily wrong, but it's like, it's optional. That's a better fit. That's a better choice because it's all a choice. You have to unlearn these behaviors, y'all. Let's just keep it real. It's stuff that you just have to decode yourself from. But you don't know sometimes that you have the option to say, oh no, maybe that's not actually like how I am inside. Maybe I am soft, cool, and collected. And these are optional choices to flip your perspective on how you perceive the reality that you're viewing. So although we cannot like control the life that we're experiencing through this current grid, no matter how hard we try, and let's face it, you're always going to be late on occasion. For someone that's like, I always want to show up 5 to 10 minutes early, there's going to be some times where the train is going to skip the stop, or you just had a long day at work and your train skip your stop. I can't tell y'all how many times that has been happening to me recently. And it's just because you have this like negative tether, knowing I gotta get home. You're attracting the madness to you. A friend might forget the phone call or cancel the plans that you were looking so forward to hanging out with them and catching up, etc. But this is where choices come in. We can choose to accept the situation for what it is. We can choose joy, living and vibing in what the energy is while it's in motion, instead of letting it stagnate, which is what a lot of us do because we get frustrated and want to like get into our little hermit shell. That's a very Aquarius trait, a very air sign trait, to be honest. But sometimes all that overanalyzing is not worth it. You just got to move along. Like the All-American Rejects, girl. You don't need to be sticking and dwelling and overanalyzing everything. And that goes for good and bad things. I remember when I was making good money at a time in Los Angeles. I don't feel like I actually got to enjoy it because I was always worried, where should it be going? Yada, yada, yada. I shouldn't spend this. That stuff is meant to be enjoyed. I don't care what it is, whether it's you investing into your home or you traveling, which is something that I love to do, as y'all can see. You don't work that hard just to just sit there. Now, obviously, I'm not saying do not protect your future. I definitely believe that all of multiple spheres can exist at the same time. But you gotta live. We be knowing how many people have we seen within our immediate families or etc. that they don't have the same life that they did 5 to 10 years ago. So we can't be the examples of someone copy and pasting the I'm not going to do stuff because vibe when we already know that in order to attract, in order to get the best of the best, you got to experience, you got to live. Hence me breaking my lease, closing out everything in LA and hopping across the country. All of that dwelling, all that overanalyzing, all that, it removes us from being present. It removes us from the ability to be able to download new signals, new experiences. We be so consumed on all the distractions that I was speaking about earlier. Why doesn't this work in my favor? Why me? I don't deserve this. This is, again, not to invalidate anybody's hardships. I get it, girl, because in most cases, we do deserve to be able to rage out and feel the emotions and process why this crazy life is happening, or it seems to be out of our wheelhouse, out of our grasp, out of our control. But then what, girl? Once we are able to process those feelings, like we have got to either choose to find the silver lining, we got to recalibrate, we got to keep on moving like 5, or we can stay stuck and dwell. And I'm telling y'all, that's the part of this whole game that we in. And I've been playing the same level, girl. For damn 36 years, it feels like. Like I've been given the same story, the same chances. I always chose one switch. And I'm telling you that the switch finally activated to the other side. And it feels so good. Like J-Lo. And I finally understand why like people say like you can be your own worst enemy, or self-sabotage is very real and ever present in a lot of people's lives. We are the ones holding us back from activating our purest of joys. The reason why I can say that, because I just felt it. It's like, so you can hear the exhaustion in my voice from living in that. And so that's how I can tell you that we are the ones trapping ourselves. And then even if you want to take I out of it and focus on a humanitarian lens, we as a society, we don't deserve y'all all the BS that we're witnessing. Minneapolis doesn't deserve everything that they're going through. The Congo doesn't deserve anything that it's going through. Palestine doesn't deserve anything that it's going through. Nobody deserves corrupt leaders in their government. Nobody deserves feeling icky in their workforces because they just know the vibes are ugly. Nobody deserves to be dragged through an entertainment industry and used up just because there are icky people out there in the world. After experiencing this over multiple years, of course, people are going to be very weary to the idea of wanting to trust thy neighbor and build community. But we are living in mad times. It is a mad world, and the orchestrators who need to be in a mad house are the ones calling the shots. The more and more people start to wake up from that and then just decide to live, then more and more y'all gonna be like me, and that's why we're gonna be hanging out on Discord and Patreon and being able to build our own vibe, our own paradigm of realness. And I'm so happy to be like a front runner in this. I don't know what is going to come out of this, but I just know 5 to 10 years from now to just know I'm going to be able to connect with so many other people, and then also be a conductor of connecting others with each other. I'm a cool matchmaker, even if it's platonic. Overall, a really cool analogy that I've been like thinking about and processing. I'm a visual girl, y'all. Y'all gotta don't let me get me, love me for me like Ashley Simpson. But in life, I do feel that we are Spider-Man with a bunch of webs. He be at his prime when he can do like 12. Y'all be seeing him fly around the city. He be doing like 12 and sticking to the building. But you only got so many limbs, y'all, to be extending out webs to be holding on and gripping into. And I feel like big city living, especially me when I was living in LA, I was holding on to about 80 of them string webs. So of course, eventually you're going to collapse. There's no way physically possible. You're going to collapse into your own web. And it's just going to be very overwhelming trying to untangle yourself out of that web. You're not going to like that. Now, what I will say is it's possible. It's just going to be, it's a journey. Like Tisha Campbell, girl, you're going to still be here, bitch. So I'm just so happy to be where I am at right now. It feels very good to have lived, to have celebrated, to have been stripped away from what doesn't feel right. And I know what doesn't serve me, and to be in a state of knowing what does. And that is what I think the golden ticket or the key of life is all about. And I'm so glad that I got mine. I'm very, very happy. I feel so ready to take on 2026 and the rest of the decade. Even if I don't know all the answers, I do know, but I don't. I know the end game, or at least what I see for myself. I just don't know what that path is going to look like. I do know that I have like the good foundation. I have the principles. I have like the biggest blessings around me, especially all across the country. I got good folks everywhere. And that's enough motivation for me to keep pushing and keep going. And no matter where I am, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm always going to be able to win a level of the game. And that is eventually winning the game. It feels like da 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 zing. Da, 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 da. It does. I've done upgraded to a Dreamcast. Did anybody used to play the Dreamcast? Was that I feel like maybe one of my friends, Tarika, in middle school, she used to have a Dreamcast, but I felt like nobody had that game system. Shout out to my dad for always having the newest of the newest game system. Feel like Tron with the Ataris. But yeah, y'all, I'm very excited. I got many projects that we're going to be activating this year, but I also know that I got to move in a wave of like one step at a time, because we got to invest in self, and that means definitely like self-care. And I'm not talking about, well, yes, girl, we will be doing the massages and all that, but I'm talking about like, you got to go to the dentist appointments. We got to schedule the doctor's visits, y'all. We got to do it. We got to pick the better food quality options. Okay. We got to do better budgeting, better money habits, but also we shouldn't get it twisted, girl. We also will be living life. We will be playing as well. This year will be a year of travel. I am definitely channeling that. I'm calling it out there after this and after being in the Bahamas, y'all. Nassau is so beautiful. If you haven't been, you gotta go. So colorful, as the boy Chad said. But I've been like activated. I gotta go back to Europe too. I gotta go see my girl Ryan and a couple of other folks out there. Every Aquarius, no matter what they say, they thrive off of community and community building. They could be the biggest loners in the world, but when they with the folks that get them, y'all gonna create some magic. So stay tuned for sure. Before we go, y'all, I need to put y'all on to some music, because y'all know that's what I do as a pop culture maven. So if y'all are into any of the bands that I named, like Sum 41, Panic at the Disco, Green Day, I need y'all to get into this group called, well, they're a band, the girl, they ain't no group. 4 guys from Atlanta called The Paradox, y'all. I have been obsessed. This band is like everything, and they even have a collab with Travis Barker from Blink-182, which I think is like the cosigns of all cosigns. Like, you don't even have to look much further. But my favorite part about them is the fact that they are Black. This is something that I dreamt of, even though I know that we are the innovators of the genre. For a while, let's face it, it was the little white punk boys that was like running this genre, and this is something that I feel like on this timeline, I am fully accepting that I have a Black punk rock band that I can look up to and go to their concerts. So I'm very excited for them. I need them to come tour here in New York. I can see them killing it at Terminal 5 right now. It's everything. So yes, y'all need to get into The Paradox. Please, please, please go Apple Music, Spotify right now. After y'all finish listening to this, go to them and just fall into it. It was the same way that I fell into my rabbit hole of Panic at the Disco. It's the same way that I'm feeling about this band, and it makes me so happy. So for any music lover, get into it and let me know what you think. But outside of that, stay tuned, y'all, and get ready for a roller coaster and adventure in 2026. Make sure to be wearing y'all purple, y'all red this week, okay? I've been watching my Chinese New Year's videos. I'm listening to my folks from all around the nations. Happy everything to everyone celebrating everything this week. It's, again, crazy energy. Protect yourselves. Do your charms. I got my little superstitious stuff. Apparently, I'm not allowed to cut anything. So I've had to put some of my unpacking and stuff on hold, because I'm trusting the universe for once. I'm letting myself fall into flow instead of trying to control everything. And I know it's going to be a very prosperous outcome, because that's what we attract this year on the weekly wind down and for the rest of our lives. But I appreciate y'all for listening in. Holla at your girl. You already know, on the social medias, on the talks, on the YouTubes. And yeah, another amazing episode. This has been Jer Bear, and we are signing out of the weekly wind down. Holler. Y'all miss me or what?